In the year 52 BC, a Gaul is burning. For 6 years, Julius Caesar has carved his name into the bones of Europe, battle by battle, tribe by tribe, turning a continent of warriors into a Roman province. But the Gauls have had enough. One man has risen from the chaos, a chieftain, a king, a warrior who has united the tribes. His name is Vercingetorix, and he has a plan to destroy Rome's greatest general. Vercingetorix doesn't fight like the Gauls of old, screaming charges and wild bravery that broke against Roman shields like water against stone. He thinks. His strategy: deny Caesar's army food, burn the fields, poison the wells, let the Romans starve thousands of miles from home. It nearly works. Caesar's legions are stretched thin, supply lines raided, foraging parties ambushed, morale cracks. Then comes the mistake. At Gergovia, Caesar suffers a rare and humiliating defeat. Nearly 700 soldiers dead, his aura of invincibility fractured. The tribes smell blood. Chieftains who had bent the knee to Rome sharpen their swords. The rebellion swells. Caesar needs a decisive victory, or everything he has built crumbles to dust. Late summer, 52 BC, the Gallic cavalry is shattered by Caesar's Germanic horsemen near Dijon. It is the turning point Vercingetorix did not plan for. His strategy requires mobility. Without cavalry, he cannot fight in the open. He makes a decision that history will debate for 2,000 years. He retreats to Alesia. Alesia sits atop Mont Auxois, a flat-topped hill rising 380 meters above the plains, flanked on 3 sides by rivers. Defensible, strong. Vercingetorix rides through the gates with 80,000 warriors and sends word to every tribe in Gaul. Come, trap Caesar between us. Destroy him together. Caesar arrives at the foot of the hill with 60,000 men, heavily outnumbered. Another general might have retreated. Caesar starts digging. What Caesar builds around Alesia is not just a fortification. It is an act of sheer, almost insane willpower. A continuous wall, 11 miles long, encircling the entire hill. They call it the circumvallation. The main trench is 20 feet wide. Behind it, 2 more trenches, the innermost flooded with river water, then a 12-foot rampart topped with a palisade, a watchtower every 80 meters. In front, 5 rows of sharpened branches. In front of those, hidden pits with sharpened stakes. The Romans call them lilia, lilies, beautiful and lethal. Nothing gets out of Alesia. Vercingetorix sends the civilians outside the walls, women, children, the elderly, to reduce mouths to feed. He expects Caesar to let them through. Caesar does not. They die in the no man's land between the walls, slowly, in the cold. It is ruthless, it is calculated, and it works. But Caesar is not finished. The relief army is coming. Vercingetorix's messengers escaped before the walls closed. The tribes of Gaul are gathering, so Caesar builds a second wall, facing outward, 14 miles long. Caesar's army is now sandwiched between 2 walls of their own construction, fighting enemies on both sides simultaneously. Think about what this means. 60,000 Romans, 80,000 warriors behind them, potentially hundreds of thousands approaching from the front. They are besieging an army while being besieged themselves. Caesar walks the fortifications each day, calm, deliberate. His soldiers watch him and steady themselves. The wait begins. Inside Alesia, the days turn to weeks. The food runs out, horses slaughtered and eaten, then the grain. Warriors become hollow-eyed and gaunt. Vercingetorix calls a council. One man, Crittinatus, makes a proposal so dark that even Caesar records it with evident horror. Eat the old men, those who cannot fight. Sustain the warriors until the relief army arrives. It is not carried out, but the fact that it was proposed tells you everything about the desperation inside those walls. Outside, Caesar's men wait along 14 miles of fortification. They too feel the hunger. They dig in, sharpen their weapons, and watch the horizon. Then they come. The Gallic relief army. Ancient sources claim 250,000. Modern historians say closer to 100,000. It doesn't matter. It is enormous. Caesar's soldiers look out from their watchtowers at a sea of warriors stretching to the horizon, campfires burning as far as the eye can see. There is a moment, recorded in the accounts, where the Romans are simply silent. Then they go back to sharpening their swords. The Gallic plan is simple. Attack the outer wall from outside, while Vercingetorix attacks the inner wall from within. Stretch Caesar to breaking point. The assaults come in waves, cavalry charges, warriors tearing at the palisades with their hands, throwing bundles of sticks into the lilia pits to create crossing points. The Romans hold. Men fall screaming into the hidden stakes. But the attacks keep coming. Caesar rides the walls personally, his red cloak visible for miles, directing troops to wherever the pressure is greatest. For 2 days, the assaults hammer the lines. The Gauls are brave, impossibly brave, but the fortifications hold. Then the Gallic commanders find it. A weakness in the northern sector. The terrain meant Caesar's engineers couldn't finish the wall properly. Lower, fewer towers. 60,000 warriors under Vercassivellaunus, a cousin of Vercingetorix, march through the night to position themselves. At the same moment, Vercingetorix launches his assault on the inner wall. Dawn breaks over Alesia, and the full weight of the Gallic world crashes down. The northern wall buckles, ladders appear, warriors pour over the palisade. Romans fight hand to hand on their own fortifications. But there are too many. Caesar strips other sections dangerously thin to reinforce the north. His lieutenants Antony and Trebonius race along the walls. It is not enough. The wall is breaking, and Vercingetorix is attacking from inside. Caesar's 60,000 men are being torn apart from both sides, exactly as planned. This is the moment that separates Caesar from every other general of his age. He does not reinforce. He does not plug the gaps. He takes every horseman he has, rides out through the outer wall, swings wide around the battlefield, and hits the Gallic assault force in the flank and rear. The effect is instant and catastrophic. Warriors surging forward suddenly find Roman cavalry behind them. The momentum shatters. Caesar rides into the melee himself. His soldiers see the red cloak in the dust and find that last reserve of violence men find when their commander fights beside them. The assault breaks. Vercassivellaunus is captured. His warriors flee. Inside Alesia, Vercingetorix watches the relief army dissolve into the distance. The last hope of Gaul, gone. The next morning, Vercingetorix calls his council for the last time. Kill him and send his head to Caesar, or surrender him alive. They choose surrender. He puts on his finest armor, rides out of the gates alone, down the hill, across the no man's land, where the civilians died, and into the Roman lines. Caesar is seated on a raised tribunal when Vercingetorix arrives. The Gaul circles him once on horseback, dismounts, removes his armor, lays it at Caesar's feet. He says nothing. He is taken to Rome, kept in a dungeon for 6 years, alive specifically for Caesar's triumph. In 46 BC, paraded through the streets in chains, then strangled in his cell. He is perhaps 35 years old, the Battle of Alesia ends the Gallic Wars. Gaul becomes a Roman province. The culture, the language, the identity of the Gallic people absorbed into Rome. Their grandchildren will consider themselves Roman. Caesar returns a hero and uses his conquest to seize power, triggering the chain of events that ends the Republic and births the Empire. One battle, one hill, one impossible double wall, and the world is never the same. If you want to understand Rome, not the marble and the togas, but the iron will that built it, you have to understand Alesia. Because this isn't a story about Caesar. It's a story about what humans are capable of when they simply refuse, to accept that something cannot be done.